Well, welcome to the Legal Law channel where we talk everything that is about law. So today we're going to discuss the new social media appeals body launched in Ireland, and you can appeal against social media bans like TikTok, YouTube, Meta, Facebook. Well, Meta is Facebook now, so you can make appeals to this body. And there's a new body that has been launched to resolve appeals against policy violation decisions made by social media companies. So the Appeal Centre Europe, so that's Europe, it covers all of Europe. You can appeal whether you're in France, Germany, Spain, so forth. You can appeal to this European Centre, and it's based in Ireland. As you may or may not know, they have their headquarters in Dublin. That's Google, Meta, TikTok, YouTube. They all have their headquarters in Dublin. So that's why I suppose the Appeal Centre is here in Dublin. So we're going to give you a brief summary now today of how you might appeal a decision of a ban or violations of community guidelines to these bodies. So the body first will initially decide cases related to Facebook, TikTok and YouTube, and is aiming to include more social media platforms over time. So it will include Instagram maybe and other platforms over time. It will hear complaints about decisions by platforms relating to issues such as the removal of content and the suspension of users' accounts. So there you have a body to go to. You can appeal to YouTube first, or TikTok as it may be, or even Meta. If they refuse your decision, you have the choice to appeal to this appeal body, and the Appeal Centre has been certified by the media regulator and its commission man. It's Irish, and it's an out of court dispute settlement that you have here, and it's set down under EU policy law regulations for online safety rules and Digital Services Act. So the European Commission has authorised this man director to hear disputes, and the decisions made by the new centre will be non-binding. So it's kind of an arbitrary process. So it's a mediation centre as such. If you can't settle your dispute with the social media platform, it's kind of a dispute resolution. They make a decision, you put forward your case, you put forward your evidence. So it is an extra place to go if your content has been refused, if your account has been suspended, you think there wasn't policy violations. Well, there you have an independent person looking at this with fresh eyes and no bias towards you at all. So that is very important, I suppose, as well. It's going to be rolled out by the end of 2005. And once launched, the new appeal centre will be funded through fees charged to social media companies for each case. So it's less cost effective than bringing a court case, and users who raise the dispute will pay what is described as a nominal fee of €5, which is refunded if the centre finds in their favour. So that's quite fair enough, I suppose, a €5 fee. The Appeal Centre said it will operate as an independent regulatory body that will provide an alternative to often costly and time-consuming legal routes to redress. As I already said, you don't want to get a lawyer involved. Legal proceedings, going to court, does take time, does take money, a lot of money. So this is an alternative dispute resolution for your people in Europe to appeal their decisions of bans on TikTok, Meta or YouTube as the case may be. Also, the centre will provide an impartial, swift and cost-effective service that is independent to both companies and governments. Now, it will decide whether platforms' decisions are consistent with their content policies, including any rules, principles or exceptions applied to those policies with reference to human rights. So it does decide whether your content is within the boundaries of the guidelines, does it breach human rights. And the director of the oversight body administration, Thomas Hughes, quoted as saying, is taking on a new role. He's in the appeal centre, and he says access to independent experts, swift and affordable redress is core to upholding people's rights, accountability and transparency of social media platforms. So he says also that we want users to have the choice to raise a dispute to a body that is independent from governments and companies and focused on ensuring platforms' content policies are fairly and impartially applied. Now, I think that's very fair. Now, you will be able to appeal the content in the coming time. As I said, it's been rolled out over the next year, and you will be able to appeal to Cushionman. I leave the name in the description below. There will be an online form where you can submit your complaint for €5, not your complaint, you can submit your dispute for €5. There'll be an online form, and you fill it out to Cushionman. They'll review it, and you go from there. But also, now we're going to discuss what is illegal content, which can also be reported to Cushionman. And illegal content is any media content that is against the law in Ireland or within the EU. As I said, Cushionman covers EU policy regulations, so you can make a complaint. I suppose if you are threatened with credible death threats online on any of these social media platforms, or harassment, unwanted messages, you can make a complaint to Cushionman. But the first port of call should be through to this social media platform and tell them about your complaint of harassment, or maybe sexual communication, sexting as it's called, sharing intimate images of others without their permission is also going to be an offence. So if you're taking intimate images of a person and you share them, I suppose whether that's public or private, well that is going to be an offence also. And also encouraging someone to attempt harm, I suppose. So as you'll see, the case of tick-tok in the UK courts, but we won't comment on that much. So also that is regarded as illegal content. But hopefully that's just giving me a brief summary. So the appeal centre will make decisions within the 90-day frame time set out in the DSA, but it said in most cases it will happen much quicker. So that's a pretty good time frame of 90 days or less to have your case heard. But it will comprise of, I think, 7 non-executive directors and 3 other directors, and there's around 47 employees to start. So I suppose it will expand quickly, and they will have more people and more staff to see these complaints through to their end. So look, I hope this was a helpful lesson for you in how you can appeal your decision of a ban, or maybe you put up content that you shouldn't have put up. You could have a dispute and you don't agree with it. Well, if you take the case, say, to tick-tok, for example, they don't agree with you, well then at least you have an alternative that you can go to Cushionman, which is Ireland's regulatory body now for Europe, and it oversees these companies for a €5 fee. I think it's pretty fair enough to try this extra dispute resolution if you can come to an agreement, as opposed to going to court, which, as you know, is very costly. So I hope this offered you some advice. You enjoy social media, you don't violate the policy guidelines in the first place. But look, these things happen. We're not all saints, we're not all scholars, we don't know this. So there's an alternative for you. So do subscribe, it helps my channel. Do click the like, it also helps. And I'm going to try bring in more content, and it might save you some time from going down legal routes and save you some money as well. So take care.